Do you know about John Bolton's famous bread? Years ago, John used to bake bread for people at the holidays, this mysteriously delicious and possibly healthy date nut spice bread. Talking with John, a longtime UUCA member, on Christmas Day, he told me there were some years when he would make dozens and dozens of loaves of his bread and give it to UUCA volunteers, to lay ministers and board members, people who were struggling over the holiday season. These days, John, who lives with cerebral palsy, is unable to make the bread. Yet, still we hunger. We didn't get to see each other this Christmas Eve. Some of us didn't have anywhere to go on Christmas this year. There were no flushed cheeks coming in out of the cold, no tins of cookies, no smiling handshakes, no sitting in the dark together listening to a choir of angels while we cradled the warm glow of a candle in our hands. The hunger for physical, personal connection is acute right now, and it is everywhere. My close friend recently lost a very old friend of hers, and the day before she was to travel to his funeral, she tested positive for COVID. And so she watched the funeral on live stream alone in her apartment. I called her up. Someone sent her flowers. "This isn't cutting it," she said. All I need is a hug." So much has been taken from us. John used to bake bread for us and deliver it on Sundays, and now that's gone. We used to hug. Surely we will again, but not right now. This year, Barbara Begner asked John for the recipe of his date nut bread. On Christmas Day, she brought over a warm loaf of the spice bread to my family. We were on our way out of town, going to stay at a secluded cabin in Virginia with some of my family members, but I stowed it at the bottom of a bag and promptly forgot about it. Until a few days later, someone unearthed the loaf and wondered what it was. Friends, I am telling you, the bread was a revelation. The bread was revelatory. What is this marvelous bread? My sister and brother-in-law wanted to know. The teen nieces and nephews kept coming back out of their room for more and started to quarrel over the remaining pieces. And finally, my dad declared it the best bread he had ever tasted in his long life. Is he prone to Epicurean hyperbole? Perhaps. I told them all the story of John Bolton's bread, and they sat back in gratitude, feeling the blessing of a gift passed down across the years, in community, no less sweet or nourishing. This is our religious tradition. Unitarian Universalism is nourishment. It is sweetness in hard times. I can't tell you the exact recipe. You will each add your own extra spice, or you will adjust the cooking time. The question is, how do you share your bread with the world? How do you live like a Unitarian Universalist, not just on Sundays, not only in this community, but everywhere? And as we think of the act of kneading bread, I wonder also what shaped you, what is holding you together as we head into this next year. If you have tuned in here today looking for something, I say it is within you already. What you need is to call upon this special spice of yours, your unique way of honoring the worth and dignity of every being, which is central to our UU belief system. You need to share your own recipe to nourish and empower and delight somebody else. And we need a community, a congregation to remind us of what is in each of us already. It's the way you treat each and every cat as though it has worth and dignity. The way you cook foods from around the world, and mostly vegetarian, practicing our seventh principle of honoring the interdependent web of life. The way you engage with literature, music, art, and culture, understanding that you are a member of the world community. Maybe you create bots in Discord. Maybe you create artwork that represents religious pluralism or our UU value of the democratic process. Maybe you bring your own silverware instead of using plastic. You are doing it. When we transform our habits, they become like little acts of hope that you can still be made and remade, that the world can still be made and remade. Even now, when all the old things you did may no longer be possible, like good bread, we can still rise. In Buddhism, setting intentions is quite different than setting goals. While many New Year's resolutions conflate the two, Buddhism separates them. Goals are future-focused and outcome-based. They are things we want to create in our lives, like making a garden, being able to lift 100 pounds, or flossing regularly. Philip Moffitt describes the process of setting intention, at least according to Buddhist traditions and teachings. It's quite different than goal making. Intention is not oriented towards a future outcome. Instead, it is a path or a practice that is focused on how you are being in the present moment. How you are being in the present moment. Your attention is on the ever-present now in the constantly changing flow of life. You set your intentions based on understanding what matters most to you and make a commitment to align your worldly actions with your inner values. As you gain insight through meditation, reflection, and moral living, your ability to act from your intentions blossoms. It is called a practice because it is an ever-renewing process. You don't just set your intentions and then forget about them. You live them every day. This is a liminal time, I believe, between Christmas and the Lunar New Year, when we begin to set our intentions for ourselves in the year to come. No need to rush it as the fireworks pop outside. You can sift through your process, remembering that even bread takes time to proof and to rise. We are a religion of not creeds, but deeds. Therefore, each of our actions contributes to the lived expression of our Unitarian Universalist faith. So take some time now to set your intentions for this next year, to create alignment between your Unitarian Universalist faith and values and your words and actions in your life. How will you nourish yourself and others? How will you live the UU path in your unique way, expressing the wisdom you already carry within? What you are looking for is already within you. But being a part of a congregation, well, that will keep calling it out of you. So I will close with the words of the great Unitarian preacher A. Powell Davies, who said, let me tell you why I come to church. I come to church, and I would whether I was a preacher or not, because I fall below my own standards and need to be constantly brought back to them. I am afraid of becoming selfish and indulgent, and my church, the Church of the Free Spirit, brings me back to what I want to be. I could easily despair, doubt, and dismay could overwhelm me. My church renews my courage and my hope. It is not enough that I should think about the world and its problems at the level of a newspaper report or magazine discussion. It could too soon become too low a level. I must have my conscience sharpened until it goads me to the most thorough and responsible thinking of which I am capable. I must feel again the love I owe to others. I must not only hear about it, but feel it. In church, I do. I am brought toward my best in every way, toward my best. So we bring each other toward our best. If John cannot bake the bread any more, then Barbara will continue making the bread. Perhaps next year, more of us will bake the bread for one another. So as the year turns, may you feel the love you owe to others. May you set your intentions and be brought in every way toward your best. May it be so. Amen.